For a long time, I thought the reason why I wanted to be dominated by a 5'9" racist black-haired Nazi girl was the reason I've been having all these like distressing dreams recently, which I'll explain. But that's actually not the case, and I realized some important things like about my mind, bro, through my dreams. Because there's obviously some part of my brain that's like I have a point, I promise I have a point, okay? There's obviously a part of my brain who's kind of a submissive little bitch coward, and I've noticed this recently in my dreams. Past couple years, in so many of my dreams, bro, and I would have only noticed if I had like good dream recall, obviously, because if you don't remember dreams, you're not gonna know about this. But I in a lot of my dreams, I'm like a younger child, not just physically younger, but mentally as well. As if I've forgotten my own age. I've forgotten I'm a fucking adult, and like I let people boss me around in these dreams, right? And I'm being controlled, and I feel so powerless, and like I'm an actual child. Like I have no idea I'm an actual fucking adult, and this is just a reoccurring thing in a lot of my dreams. And for a long time, I had the thought like, oh, that's probably just because like in my brain I'm like part of my brain's like a fucking bitch. Like, you know, when I was younger and I had lucid dreams, I literally used to try and get women, a lot of the times my teachers, to like beat me up and fucking control me in my dreams. That's what I used to do when I was younger a lot. So I just kind of put it down to that. But I realized that these dreams were really trying to send me an actual message. They were not just useless shit like that. They were trying to send me a message about, I feel how I'm dependent on a lot of people in my life, and that is distressing me, but a lot of the times I push that to the back of my head, right? And then I'll have these dreams where I'm really powerless and I wake up like really distressed. And a lot of the times it just ruins my whole night because I actually don't enjoy it anymore. I guess maybe I would have enjoyed it when I was younger, but I did not enjoy that shit like at all. It fucking sucks. And I do feel it's been sending me this message, as I said, about like dependence on people and how I really should be taking on more responsibility in the waking world, but I kind of push it to the back of my head. And I feel these dreams are kind of bringing that to my attention more. And I always had this thing, like when I was younger and first started getting into lucid dreaming, I had this opinion that dreams mean nothing. They don't mean anything. You can't interpret dreams. They're just kind of random signals firing off in your brain. But I've kind of changed my view on that because of these dreams. And I kind of was ignoring them a bit in a way until I had a dream the other night where I was in the bathroom, and for some reason, like once again, I was a child in this dream mentally and physically, and for some reason my mother was trying to look at me in the bathroom and like being really weird, but I didn't fight against it, I guess. And then I started pissing, and then I started pissing on the floor, and then my mom started getting all angry and made me wipe it up, and obviously I had to clean the floor and she helped me. And then she started talking about how I had to take on more responsibilities and shit, and this was annoying me. I was like, I don't want to do all that shit, and I was kind of in the mindset of like a 14-year-old or something. And then we were at a table with a bunch of men. A lot were my age now, and like there were some older men there as well. And my mom was talking about how I had to start taking on more responsibilities, and then one of the men started repeating that. But then towards the end, he started kind of like becoming incoherent, and then I was trying to claim, I didn't hear what you said. You were like mumbling at the end. What the fuck were you saying? I don't want to take on more responsibilities or whatever. But like they knew what I was doing, and the men like kind of knew what shit I was doing, and they were like, nah, we're not buying that. You need to take on more responsibilities and stuff. And that shit was pissing me off. And then towards the end of the dream, I kind of started realizing like this is wrong. I'm not actually a 14-year-old or whatever age I was. I'm like a grown adult. I shouldn't be like putting up with this shit. But then it kind of hit me that the only way I'm gonna be able to comfortably walk away from my mother, which is like, it was like a whole fucking metaphor, whatever. The whole way I'm gonna be able to comfortably walk away from these men and get away from them and not feel fucking powerless is if I do take like more responsibility and like force myself to grow or whatever. So like, I'm not trying to sound like corny or whatever, but I'm just saying I feel when you're younger, my point is basically when you're younger and you're not dealing with a lot of big mental problems or a lot of issues, most children are just concerned with like playing or some shit and doing what their parents tell them to do. So you have a lot of dreams about maybe what you saw at the movies and whatever, and you have a lot of action dreams. So it's easy to discard that as like just random shit that has no meaning or whatever. But I feel as you get older, it's very useful, bro. Even if you don't give a shit about lucid dreaming or normally you don't care about dreams, I feel it's useful to start dream journaling and really focus on your dreams, because I feel you're gonna notice, if you're dealing with issues especially, you're gonna notice your brain is trying to help you. Like, even if you're trying to push things to the back of your head and you don't really want to deal with a lot of things, I think your brain is going to help you and try and send this message to you when things are really important. And when you're in real life saying, that's not important, I'm just doing my own shit, when you go to sleep and have dreams, your subconscious is going to be sending you messages and oftentimes solutions, bro. And this is just what I've found. I've had a lot more examples of this, which I won't go into too much detail because it's kind of like private and you probably don't want to hear about that shit because it's kind of boring. But I do think it is very useful now. Like, my whole point is I just think you should focus more on your dreams. So that's just like quick little thing I was thinking about. I do think more people should be doing that, especially if you're dealing with like mental issues and whatever. And all you have to do is start dream journaling, and that will just improve your dream recall. Dream journal every day. So I don't know. I still don't believe in the thing like universal dream symbols. You see a snake and it means this, or look in your fucking dream dictionary and like look at these symbols. Like, you need to think when you have a dream. If you're thinking that dream, if you're thinking, maybe that kind of feels like it applies to this thing in my life, then there's a good chance I feel it does apply to that thing. You know what I mean? And I feel a lot of times dreams will speak in like metaphors and whatever. I haven't gone too in depth on like dream interpretation and some shit, but that's just my take. I don't know. Goodbye. Do not join the Discord. Leave me a mean comment, unsubscribe to me, dislike the video. I don't fucking know. Goodbye. I love you. That's a quick thing. Farewell.